is insane. I mean, it looks like I will miss my flight.
But I do understand, the shortage in staff and the why, but it's just very inconvenient for all passengers.
We're seeing long lines, flight delays, and cancellations at airports around the country as the government shutdown has now dragged on for more than a month. Those air travel issues are piling up, and officials say this is only going to get worse. Hello, I'm Christine Pitawanich, tracking your latest headlines. Federal workers at airports across the nation are feeling the pressure. TSA workers and air traffic controllers are considered essential staff and must work during the government shutdown despite not getting paid. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said some air traffic controllers have called in sick in protest. Others are taking time off to work other jobs until paychecks restart. We've seen ground stops at airports like LAX and Nashville. At Newark Airport in New Jersey, there have been hours-long delays. And in Houston, at times, security lines spilled over outside the airport. At one point, the wait at TSA checkpoints was more than 3 hours long. Hugo Gianluca spoke to travelers in Houston about their frustrations.
Got here early, and am I glad I did. Look at this mess.
A mess indeed. Houston airport officials are urging passengers to get here early. This KHO11 viewer listened to that advice.
You got here 4 hours before your flight. Why is that?
Saw on the news at 6 a.m. KHOU that it was going to be a 3-hour wait, so here we are.
Long security wait times could last as long as the federal government is still shut down due to staff shortages. Some travelers underestimated just how bad it would be.
I think we're going to miss the flight.
How do you feel about that, sir?
Terrible. We're so concerned about it.
What was your reaction when you saw the line?
I want to cancel.
She ended up sticking it out. At Bush Airport, only TSA checkpoints at terminals A and E are open for passengers. At Hobby Airport, fewer screening lanes are open with wait times exceeding over an hour. Some passengers were ready to wait.
Get here early and be patient. That's the only thing you can do.
Because you can't control anything else.
No. Everyone's doing the best they can, and I know everyone else is waiting as well, so just understand that.
Meanwhile, others are frustrated. This government shutdown is happening all together.
I'd like to have every congressman standing right behind me going through this same thing so they can see what us Americans are going through because they don't do their job.
Halloween weekend was the worst for air traffic control staffing shortages since the shutdown began on October 1st. That's according to FAA data. There were 98 staffing trigger reports. That's when air traffic controllers have to change operations to keep the airspace safe with fewer people working. It can include derouting planes or delaying flights. Experts have warned travelers would see more flight disruptions the longer federal workers have to go without a paycheck. Brianna Costello spoke with an air traffic controller in Dallas who says he had to pick up another job to support his family.
Safety in the sky is a growing concern as the federal shutdown enters its 5th week.
I don't want to sit down and map out how long I can go. I think that'll cause me more anxiety than anything.
Air traffic controller Jack Chris is one of thousands of federal workers who are working without pay.
Short staffing, high workload, and then not knowing when you're going to get paid, that just sounds like a recipe right there.
Chris spent most of his career at Dallas Love Field before moving to the D.C. area for his 15-year-old daughter last year. He's still going to work, but now he has a second job. He's working for DoorDash to keep food on the table.
The political games have real-life implications, and I just urge Congress to get something passed.
He missed his first full paycheck. Airlines are scrambling to help. In Texas, Love Field is setting up a donation drive, but area food banks are bracing for the impact.
You'll have a lot of people in crisis. They won't have enough food to eat for themselves or for their kids.
Chris knows it's only a matter of time. Something will have to give. He hopes the safety of the flying public is not part of that.
I mean, how can you manage this from an emotional perspective without thinking to yourself, should I do something else?
In Arlington, I'm Brittany Costello.
The FAA previously reported they were already down about 3,000 air traffic controllers nationwide, even before the shutdown. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association represents more than 20,000 controllers. It says many of its members were already working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and the shutdown is adding even more strain. Brianna Keeler spoke with the union's president.
The amount of stress, the fatigue, the frustration is growing every day. Air traffic controllers are waking up to a headline that says there's no end in sight, and that leads to a level of hopelessness as well. And, there's not even as many air traffic controllers that are working today as there was in the 2019 shutdown, where air traffic controllers were working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, and that was already an issue that we were working on. And now every day that this continues, it continues to build, and it continues to put them in a place that is completely unacceptable.
Can you help us visualize what it's like inside of, a tower when there are not enough people?
You start having one person take on multiple tasks where you would normally have that workload divided between controllers. They're going to go to work, they're going to do their job, they're going to keep everyone safe, but you have to start slowing down the number of aircraft that can go through it so one person can handle this level of complexity. This is the most high consequence job in the entire world. You're making 1,000 decisions, in just one rotation to ensure that aircraft move safely in and around the airport or in the sky. And every single time that they have to take on an additional level of responsibility amidst all these other issues is something we have to be concerned about and something we have to manage.
What are the personal financial dilemmas that they're facing right now?
We're not only seeing air traffic controllers already reporting, like, I have no money for gas and to be able to get to work. They're over 1 month at this point without a level of compensation for the amazing work that these patriots do day in and day out. But also on top of that, not having childcare. We're seeing air traffic controllers for their first time starting to resign. We have trainees that are resigning, and we have certified controllers. And we're getting reports of them resigning over the course of this past week.
You've called for a clean funding bill. That's right?
Yes, it is.
You've called for a clean funding bill. That at this point is the demand of Republicans in the White House as well. You were at the White House roundtable this past week on aviation, travel, and union leaders, and the White House has said they have no intentions to meet with Democrats until the government is reopened. Have you been able to speak to Democratic House and Senate, especially leadership, about what your folks need?
We have, and our message has been consistent from the very beginning. 1 day of a shutdown was too much. Air traffic controllers cannot be used as a political pawn. And I can help everyone know the end of this story. People can't live without money. It's putting us in a position to, for an air traffic controller to have to not only deal with this profession, but then weigh going home and having to have the consequences of being at a home and trying to explain to your family that you're going to go into one of the most demanding jobs in the world and you don't know when you're going to get paid again. Our message is simple. Open the government, and it has to open now. That's the real issue, and that's the only way that this is going to be solved.
You've been through this, time and again, and the threat of it time and again now, right? This is becoming a kind of regular thing, but I don't know that we've ever seen it threaten in recent history. A holiday season, kind of at a critical point in the shutdown, right?
Air traffic, we're worried about that as well.
Talk to us about that. What happens if we get to the Thanksgiving travel rush and the government is still shut down? What does that look like?
There's a lot of things that doing this job for 23 years that I can predict or I could tell you and explain. I have no idea how to explain what it would look like if we get to the holiday rush and we're still dealing with a government shutdown. The number of issues are growing daily. When air traffic controllers can't drive to work already and don't have gas or childcare, and then we're talking about it lasting all the way to the holidays, it's not something I can sit here and tell the flying public, America, in any way, shape, or form of what that would look like.
Would you feel safe flying? I
feel safe because of the hardworking men and women that I represent. They are showing up. And to every single person that shows up each day, each moment, they're the ones shouldering this burden of the shutdown. And it's something that we have to recognize them for, is that they're taking this on when it has nothing to do with them whatsoever. And it's, again, why we're calling this shutdown has to end now. These hardworking Americans need to be paid.
Do you feel safer when they're not dealing with these kinds of issues?
No, every day this continues, this system will be less safe. Tomorrow will be less safe than today. And because of that, and it's our job to communicate for the safety of the flying public, it's why the traffic has to reduce, why things have to slow down, because we cannot put these men and women dealing with this job on top of this prolonged shutdown.
The last time the government shut down was in December of 2018 during President Trump's first term. That was the longest shutdown in U.S. history, stretching 35 days. Air traffic controllers played a key role in ending that shutdown. Sick calls led to ground stops and delays at some of the country's busiest airports. And when that happened, lawmakers reached a deal pretty quickly. This time around, Republicans and Democrats still don't seem any closer to resolving their stalemate. Meantime, travel insurance might be on many people's minds if the shutdown stretches into the busy holiday travel season. After the break, what one expert is recommending for your travel plans. Many people who are traveling for the holidays are keeping a close eye on the government shutdown and its impact on air travel. Some might even be looking at travel insurance to plan ahead for any disruptions. Amy Steigerwald spoke to an expert for what you need to know.
I'm flying today on sheer faith.
Uncertainty at airports across the country continues as the government shutdown pushes forward. And if you're planning to travel for the holidays, travel insurance might be on your mind.
Since COVID, we've seen really a significant and steady increase in the purchase of travel insurance.
Robert Gallagher with the U.S. Travel Insurance Association says the commercial aviation industry has seen a number of issues over the past few years with technology, infrastructure, and now a government shutdown. If you're planning to purchase any type of travel insurance policy, he recommends looking for trip delay and trip interruption coverage, especially when flying.
Read the policy and understand what it is that you're buying and make sure that the policy includes coverage for risks that concern you.
Whether you're booking a trip through a travel agent or a provider direct outlet, reading your policy all the way through is important to make your money worth it.
Even domestically, there are benefits, there are coverages within a domestic travel insurance policy that are worth the additional cost.
And if you're traveling soon, make sure to check your flight status before heading to the airport. You can use your airline's app for that. The FAA also has this site that you can check to see if there are any widespread delays at your airport. You can look up National Airspace System Status to find it. If you're at the airport already and your flight has been canceled, get in line at customer service, but also make a phone call, go online, or you can also message them on social media. Sometimes that gets a faster response. Airlines will rebook you for free, but you should know during the busy holiday season, you might have to wait days for a seat on a new flight. Airlines also are not required to put you on another carrier's flight if you want to book with another airline. And if you decide not to travel or you find another way to get there, you're entitled to a full refund, even on non-refundable tickets, plus any bag or seat fees that you paid. And remember, U.S. airlines don't have to pay cash compensation or cover hotels and meals for delays. Policies vary, and each airline is different. The Transportation Department has this website that details what your airline offers. Many are stepping in to help impacted federal employees. In Charlotte, North Carolina, the owner of a gas station gave away free gas to TSA and air traffic control employees at the airport. The owner said he wanted to do his part to help those who serve us.
I travel, my family travels. We traveled this past weekend. It is extremely important, and we all see what's going on the news. People not being able to get to work, people wanting to come to work but can't. So this is just one of those little things that the community has always been really good to me, and this is something that I felt compelled to try to give back a little bit when I can.
He says they gave out at least 1,500 gallons of gas to TSA and air traffic controllers. As the shutdown drags on, money is running low for many federal workers. Many of them who have been furloughed or working without pay are taking to side jobs just to make ends meet. Dan Kennedy is in Atlanta with more.
Vile thought she would retire at the CDC. She spent 8 years there doing violence prevention research. Now she's without her job and looking for a new way to earn a living.
Luckily, I have a hobby. I am a florist by hobby, and now I'm going to transition and build that business and do more events.
The Floral Factor was once Lay's side project. Now she's trying to turn it into a full-time business.
People who are similar in my position, it's just having to turn to dog sitting and anything to make ends meet is just, that's tough.
The government shutdown is forcing even more people to go without pay. That's why former CDC employee Sarah Boehm launched this talent marketplace website on Friday. It's a place for fired or furloughed federal workers to list their skills and find short-term work.
Like I said, dog walking, babysitting, music lessons, tutoring. If people are getting in the holiday mood, there's people who can do jewelry design, baking, gift wrapping, all kinds of different things.
Behind those listings include microbiologists, epidemiologists, and behavioral scientists like Lay, just looking for a new way to get by.
Our passion has been to help people, and so I think that even for these services that aren't necessarily their expertise, I think they're going to do a great job.
She thought she'd retire at the CDC. Now Lay's part of a growing number of people piecing together a paycheck. Dan Kennedy, 11 Alive News.
The impacts of the federal shutdown continuing to be felt across the country. We'll stay on top of developments and bring you the very latest. For now, I'm Christine Pedawanich. Thanks for watching.